are you on strike for?
For more money.
How much are you earning?
We get 6 rand, 4 rand per week.
4 rand per week?
Yes.
Yeah, 9 rand.
And how much are you striking for?
Now please do over 3 rand or 5 rand.
5 rand. 5 rand.
More.
5 rand.
How many hours a week do you work?
9 hours.
Per week.
A day?
Per week. A day. 9 hours per day. 45 per week.
45 hours a week. And you
Yes.
get 5 rands for that?
Yes. 5 rand for that. 4 rand. Other one get 4 rand. Other one get 3 rand.
4 rand in English money is around about £2 a week you get.
Yes.
For 45 hours.
Yes.
Money stop at 9 rand 75.
And
Girls.
do you find that impossible to live on properly? Can you buy enough food and clothes on that money?
No, we can't buy
It is
anything.
not sufficient. That money is not sufficient for us because all things are up now.
Ifilimu
You're all out of work. You're working better.
Yes, we did. We sent a report to the managing director of NTE at his head office in Pietermaritzburg. This was the 1st of December. We sent it to him. It contains full details of all the facts, like you saw today, details of wages, housing conditions, the malnutrition, and so on.
You said it was 3 months ago.
Yes. 3 months ago.
Did he acknowledge?
No, he acknowledged nothing about that. We had no acknowledgement even to date from him about this.
Because he insists that he knows nothing about the conditions of the people here.
I myself find that strange, as he had the report 3 months ago.
Does your campaign end here now, and that the parent company has said that something will be done?
No, there's many more companies with conditions just as bad as this. We'll start investigating others and trying to improve conditions there, as well as running a labour campaign, which begins on the 2nd of April, to try and get more interest from public in Pietermaritzburg and to involve more students in our sort of activity.
Do you consider this to be a coup for your commission research?
Well, it's the biggest achievement we've had to date. It seems like concrete results will be flowing from this, and as such, maybe so.
Stress me, how much of the current unrest and strikes has been due to the fact that there has not been a trade union for these people to work through?
Well, I should say that the greatest amount of it was due to what you might call unorganized labor. Now, unorganized labor, as you know, is people who do not have some sort of get-together and some sort of outlet for their frustration and feelings. And I found that the trade union movement is the ideal thing for these workers to do. Because if it comes to the point that these people have, what shall we say, grievances at factory level, then it means that they can't get rid of their grievances. The only thing that can be done is when they come to their trade union meeting, they can put over their grievances, and their grievances will be dealt with. But without some sort of organization, such as a trade union, then these people are completely frustrated and they have to take unilateral action, you might say, and cause a little bit of unrest.
Has the white trade unionists, like yourself, filled the gap so far?
We have done everything possible to fill the gap. We represent these people at wage boards. We try hard to put over this idea of them being having a good crack of the whip, because we realize that if these people do not be happy, then the whole lot of us will be unhappy.
So if there is a complete breakdown in labour relations among the blacks, the whites are also going to suffer?
Oh yes, I think you'll find that the recent ones, when the Bantu did go on strike, the other people, the white people, could not carry on the job themselves, and they, although not on strike, were unemployed.
So a lot of the activity by white trade unionists helping the blacks is partly self-interest?
Yes, yes. It's an interest that we all got to have. It's an interest that we've got to say to ourselves, look, if I'm helping somebody else, then indirectly I'm helping myself.
They haven't got unions, but they do have what's called the wages committee, the negotiating committees, the workshop committees. Don't they fill a gap?
You are liable here to make me feel very, very angry, because I can assure you that works committees are completely hopeless. It means that people who depend on their livelihood to a certain person has got to face that person and give argument, which of course seems to me rather a thing that can't be done, because self-interest of the person, like hanging on to his job and seeing that his advancement, if any, is in the pipeline, if he says anything wrong at any of these works committee meetings, then it means that he's frowned upon and something could happen at a later date when he probably forgot this incident and it's ta-ta.
Did it surprise you, the strikes over the past 2 months?
Well, maybe the date might have surprised us. That might have been a surprise, but we have been predicting it in the trade union movement. We've been predicting it for years. We've been saying for years that this will happen unless decent channels of communication were opened.
What have they gained? I mean, looking through my research cuttings, they seem to have gained very little.
Well, little if you think of it in terms of money. But I think in terms of knowing what you can do, what you can do even if you're not supposed to be allowed to do it, they've gained immensely. They've gained an immense realization of their economic strength and power. In money, it's
have they
not
really?
much.
I mean,
Yes.
are they conscious now of a new power, industrial action?
Look, not conscious in that way, not conscious in a sophisticated kind of a way, but I'd say they've seen how many people there are who feel the same as they do. They've seen that the factories actually stop if they're not inside. And I think in this way they've gained, and even if they're not aware of it, if you're in the position that I'm in as a trade union secretary, you can see what these people have gained, and so can the employers. Listen, this is why they're talking as they are. This is why everybody's saying we must do something. This is the reason for the symposiums, the seminars, the talks, the all sorts of things, because everybody has seen this.
I would think so, because in the first place, I don't know what is meant by black power. I know there is a lot of black consciousness in which I myself believe to a degree, but I do not believe in, I wouldn't say I believe in black power, because black power, is, to me, has undertones of racism, which I abhor. So I would not really say that there's any black power, that I believe in black power myself, but I do believe in black consciousness.
And do you think that is growing among your own people?
I think it is growing amongst my own people, yes. Because you see, amongst the younger people, well, it's more rabid, you might say, because the younger people are always more sensitive than people who are older than themselves, such as myself, because I think as far as the younger people are concerned, they accept rejection by the whites of South Africa as something that is complete, you see. So it's a reaction, you know, to white power.
Do you think that as a leader of a large nation, you can harness this consciousness?
Well, one can try as much as one can, but you see, if the goods are not coming from the other side, since you are operating on within a system anyway which you yourself abhor, and since younger people are even more skeptical that in fact we are naive by assuming that anything can come out of it at all, then of course if the goods are not delivered from the other side, you can understand the disillusionment that ensures, and you cannot guarantee that you'll always channel that black consciousness.
Why? Can you explain what you mean by the goods not being delivered?
Well, I mean in terms of setting up a country, you know, when people say they were different nations, we should see ourselves taking shape as different nations. And this can happen if people give us a country where we can be a nation. We can't be a nation in the air, you see.
Do you think the people around here, the people that I've passed in the streets, recognize themselves as a nation? Do you think they have the same longing to become part of a nation again? The same longing that you have?
It's not a question of longing on my part. It's a question of people who don't want to accept us into one country, which South Africa, to which we belong, saying, you know, creating the myth that we are separate nations. So that I think you will be misinterpreting me if you say that I'm longing for this, because in fact I have no option. I'm only operating because I want to help my people within the realm of what is possible.
I'm sure this is part of it. I think any responsible industrialist must pay attention to what is being said and done locally and, of course, overseas. And if you're going to maintain good industrial relations, it's very important to care for all your people.
If there is not a deliberate attempt to improve the lot of the African worker here, what is going to happen?
I think only one thing can happen, and that is you're going to have very serious confrontation, polarization, and we all know what that can mean in this part of the world, so that any person who has any opportunity, influence for the good, communication, wages, job opportunities, a sense of belonging, you know, this has now become a matter of urgent priority, certainly for us in our corporation, and of course, as you've mentioned, this is now very much right across the board.
People have called themselves prisoners of history here. Is this how you describe them?
Yes, I think it's true. I think we've got to take into account rather the fact that you have an emerging people, that you have thousands of people coming from rural areas, coming into an industrial situation, and we being held back by tremendous forces, political, social, economic, and we've got a great deal of time to to make up for. And that's why I think we've got to work so very, very fast in this country. And I think we're beginning to realize that, and that's the change.